welcome back to the World Cyber Games 2019. This is no longer Dota 2. We have taken over the stream and gone for some Crossfire action as we're into the grand finals. I'm Jason Kaplan, and this handsome gentleman, tall, I guess short drink of water to my left-hand side. Yes, right-hand side is blue. We've casted 2 matches today so far. We've had a lot of matches since then, but how are you doing now?
Doing pretty good.
We've got the big-ass stage behind us.
Yeah, we get the big stage behind us now. We've got the big games coming up here, too. We're going to be seeing all gamers play again, if I recall correctly. They'll be going up against some of our European competition here in this matchup.
Sorry, I'm just really enjoying the height discrepancy here.
Yeah.
It's like, don't talk to me or my son ever again. Also, my alias apparently is Jay Kaplan, which is news to me. I don't think Jeff would be happy about that. Papa Jeff. You know Papa Jeff.
He's not here right now. He's on the other side of the planet.
It's like Papa John, but a different pizza company, I guess. But obviously, this is Crossfire. If you guys were just joining us, you didn't see the Crossfire action we did on the other stage earlier on today. It's going to be all best of ones throughout the day. It's all round robin between the 8 teams, all coming and hailing from different parts of the world. We've already had, I think, about 2 or 3 rounds completed so far. I think we're into our third round, because the 4th round will be done by some other casters that will be coming in. But this is basically like close to the midway section. Top 4 teams advance out of the round robin into the semifinals, which will take place on Saturday. So we'll have 2 semis, the grand final, and a 3rd place match as well. But a lot of money on the line. There's 80 grand for 1st place, 40 for 2nd, 20 for 3rd, and a whopping goose egg for 4th place. So, you know, 3rd, 4th place matches, you don't see them happen too often, but this is one that really counts.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like we were talking about before on the other stage, like it's such a harsh cutoff here for the prize pool. And normally, you don't see that as much like at Western events and whatnot. So these teams really have to work hard to be able to get into that top 3. And for some of those teams, it's going to be a tough battle. Like the Chinese teams have resurged and seemingly are looking really strong at this event so far, based on what we saw from the 2 games earlier. So now, you know, they're really tough competition once again. It's not going to be so easy, it seems, for the Western teams to be able to take down some of the Chinese ones, and that could, you know, potentially lead to an easy pathway for China to dominate the game once again.
I mean, Brazil, like you're mentioning, like they took the title away from China, actually winning in the Crossfire Stars 2018. They won it actually from the Russian team, RU Legends, funny enough, because the Chinese teams didn't perform as well. Yeah, I think had Super Valiant make it into the semifinals, and I think they lost to Black Dragons 2-1 in their semis match. But it's up to China now to like take that title back in their own hands. And we've been talking to Kyle quite a bit. He's been saying he knows the Chinese teams have been grinding day in and day out to really make sure to take that game or that title championship belt back for them. Considering this is like, China is considered the best region when it comes to Crossfire, but it hasn't been living up to it until today. Because we did have that 10-3 with All Gamers taking down Black Dragons. And then we had something I didn't expect to see here in like a world final of Super Valiant winning 10-0 up against Trust, the Indonesian team. Yeah, I mean, and that was a very one-sided game. I mean, it was N9 was like 15-0 and only had like 1 death, which like in the final round of the game. So a little unfortunate.
It was a little unfortunate, I think, considering that like Trust came into this one as a cool storyline, considering that nobody knew much about them. They were like a relatively new roster. Yep. I think the 2 of us were hoping we'd get a little bit of a dark horse factor to come out of that.
Maybe it'll happen. Maybe like later on. Maybe it's like the first game jitters, you know.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like I was saying, that there wasn't really any redeeming factor out of that match from them. So we're going to have to hope that they were able to bounce back in some of their later rounds, and that they're going to have better luck in, you know, the rest of the matches that they've either played or going to play today and in tomorrow. And
we didn't get to cover any of the Carbon games, USA team. We got to see Black Dragons once. We're getting to see now some Europe mixed in here. Yeah. It'd be nice to see RU Legends to see where they're currently sitting at. But the game we're going to be going to is an interesting one, because it's going to be Golden 5, which isn't. It's a mix of Penta and Flipside. So 2 like European teams, Flipside being German. It's kind of like a mix-up of the rosters, but the thing that really confused me the most is you have 2 players who are both the in-game leaders and both the snipers for their team. But we're going to a map where snipers isn't as effective. So I wonder how that's going to change things up for them. Maybe this will be a weak map for them. We have seen the AWM used a couple of times on Mexico, but it's very situational and you have to be put in certain positions with boosts and the whatnot. But I don't know how this is going to work. Who's in-game leading for the team? How are they going to do the shot calling? How are they going to blend together against a team that should be one of the best teams here in this tournament?
Yeah, and one of the most well-formed ones as well when you talk about team cohesion and, you know, having been together for so long and things like that. Like, I think this entire 5-man roster, we saw pretty much the same exact thing at CFS. We probably had seen them at multiple events prior to that as well, with maybe only 1 or 2 roster changes happening like per year here. This is a very stable team, and it's going to be hard to break that down with what is essentially like a pickup group here to a certain extent.
I mean, so the upside is that they're not going to be predictable. I know we said this earlier on with the Trust game. Like, there's not a lot of tape on you, so it's hard for teams to read into that. Except Super Valiant didn't seem to care as they won 10-0 in that game. It's like, we don't need tape. But now, like, the fact is they have some sort of advantage in my eyes of, there might not be tape on them, but they have, like, two captains, two in-game leaders for respective teams coming together within a roster to maybe create some new ideas, maybe go with some new strategy they're not used to that they can really surprise some teams. But you can see here the kind of overview of how this whole thing is going to go. It's first to 10. That's how you win the map. It's kind of like a lot of other FPS games you see out there, except it's only to 10 this time. There's 9 round halves, 18 in total. And of course, if you win, you get points. You lose, you get nothing. And it comes down to who is the top 4 teams moving into Saturday, moving into our grand final day, because those teams are the ones who have a chance to fight for money.
You can see, of course, as well, the prize pool. Once again, we were talking about it earlier, but it's that very harsh cutoff at 80,000 for first, 40,000 USD for second, and 20,000 for third. And that is it. Nothing else for anyone else placing from 4th to 8th place.
That's rough. I think I kind of like it though. I hate and like at the same time, like giving out money to teams for like 3rd, 4th place, the same prize pool. Because like, hey, you made it to 3rd, 4th place, we should give you some money. But I kind of like how there's that 3rd place match really is important because you have to win that game to win any sort of prize pool. As we do have some teams going to be coming into the stage. We have Golden 5 on the right hand side of your screen. All Gamers on the left-hand side. We know All Gamers are currently 1-0 at least, at a minimum, since they did win their first match of the day. But we don't know how those standings have changed since then.
Yeah, we'll have to see how the performance goes. Obviously, the teams will exchange flags and then head into their booths here.
Hopefully back to their booths. I think
they're shuffling around a little bit there, but we'll get them back to their booths in just a moment here. We'll get them set up to play on Mexico, which is going to be the map for this best of 1. Big emphasis on that, though, folks. It is only a best of 1 here. So mistakes are going to be punished and continuously punished with the fast-paced nature that Crossfire brings to the table. And a lot of these teams are going to have to adjust relatively quickly.
Yeah, we should go into that, actually, just for people who might be newer to Crossfire and aren't really sure of how it plays out. Because there's there's like 2-minute, 30-second rounds. Yeah. But then after a round finishes, the next round starts up within like the next 5 to 10 seconds. Like you're back into the game. You don't have time to like sit there, figure out what went right, what went wrong for us. We have to get ready to just play.
There's no buy time or anything like that. Yeah. There's no economy system at all to worry about in this game. You just go in gun round after gun round, and it just throws you back, into the grinder every single round, essentially.
And you're going to be seeing pretty much the 4 same weapons as well. You can see the rosters here of the Golden 5. We got the AWM, the sniper rifle, you got the M4, you got the AK, and the Deagle as well. And I'm hoping for these guys, for guys from Germany, hailing from where I live currently, can put up a good fight here because there's not many teams that have been able to do so far up against these Chinese teams.
We'll have to see, of course, because speaking of those Chinese teams, All Gamers had a great start. If you missed the stream earlier on today, it was 10-3 that they managed to take out the Black Dragons, the current champions of Crossfire Stars. They managed to quick a work of them as well. Touch on the Black Dragons for a second. Of course, it's a little bit disappointing in that matchup.
Yeah.
Especially from a strategical standpoint. So we'll have to see if they can bounce back. But it's a good start for AG.
Let's be fair, though, to Black Dragons, we have some time, is the fact that the same thing happened at Crossfire Stars. They actually lost to All Gamers 10-5 in the initial group stage, and they bounced back later on in the day. So I wonder if they can continue to do the same. Maybe we'll have a new team kind of rise up. I would like to see RU Legends, who got 2nd place at Crossfire Stars 2018. Maybe they can make that big push for the grand finals and take home the victory. But the 500 grand that Black Dragons won from CFS is like insane. That's so much money to have. 100 grand per player for playing a game that you love and enjoy. And we should also point out, like, this isn't, like a game that these people have picked up after like a year. Like, this isn't like they've only been playing for a year or 2. They've been playing for practically a decade, if not longer. Like, they've spent some serious time. So the metas have been flushed out. It's very hard to discover new things. It comes down to like those mid-game calls, and hopefully for a lot of teams' sake, that's not Black Dragons, you stop going to the same site every round because it didn't work out for them.
Not at all, really, in that matchup. So we'll have to see if Black Dragons are going to bring a little bit more to the table after what we saw in that first match, and if they were able to recover any of their later matches of the day right there. So we got all these players sitting down, All Gamers going over some strategies and whatnot here real quick too. Got the note paper, I guess. It's usually a book.
Yeah, it's notepad normally. Yeah. I was like, note paper. I was like, wait a minute. But I can say this, though. So we had All Gamers play against Black Dragons earlier on today. They won that one. They played against Trust second. Now, I'm not going to just say they're up 2-0 so far, but considering how we saw Trust play, most likely All Gamers are currently up 2-0 as we move into the 3rd round where they're playing against Golden 5. So I'm going to say All Gamers are probably 2-0. Super Valiant, they played against Trust, and then they played against the Golden 5. So depending on how that match went, if we get to see the standings at all, it'll determine like what we can expect here. Because we don't know. We haven't really been notified of like what the changes have been so far within the round robin stage. But if Golden 5 put up a good fight, then we could have a really close match on our hands.
Yeah, it's all been going on back over in the tournament section, right in the middle of the hall. So We don't know exactly how these teams have built up or how many of their further matches have gone, but hopefully we're going to get a chance to preview both of them here in just a moment. Because I think we're very, very close to starting the game here. We're just working on getting all the players into the server. We got everyone from all gamers in there. I think we're just waiting on a couple more for the Golden Five.
Sixth stage, by the way. You guys haven't noticed. I know we haven't talked about it yet, but it's like, Matt, we're in this airplane hangar here. There's a couple of them around for the venue. And we're just in this massive airplane hangar, which is just basically the stage and then like a little VIP section over here. It's insane. Like, I always love Chinese productions because they always put on these like really extravagant stages. Like last one I worked on 2 years ago, they had like 100-foot wide screen with like a 50-foot like height. It was ridiculous LED wall. It looks like we're about to kick this one off here, Blue. I'm seeing the goes coming in from both teams. We're going to have hopefully a very good match here on our hands. It'll be our final match, at least with you and I casting. But we still have Kyle and Lethal to come up a little bit later on today. I think that'll be on one of the other streams. They'll be casting one match today, and then we're moving into tomorrow with a couple more matches. There's about 4 happening on stream. So there's tons of Crossfire action still to happen this whole weekend. Yeah, they'll be in our tournament stage stream, if I recall correctly. But here we go. We are loading in now, folks. So we're just a couple seconds away from getting started. It's our only match of the day for Crossfire here on the main stage at WCG 2019. So let's get into it. Golden 5, hailing from Europe against all gamers from China. Let's see how things go. The initial get-go, the initial start. I would think we need to see a good initial, I think, couple of rounds here for Golden 5. Because obviously all gamers should be the favorite when it comes to this matchup, just based off of the mix-up within rosters, the mix-up within teams, and the kind of culmination of this German squad. A lot of shots rallying off, as it looks like Rue is going to be the first one to fall here. So a little bit of a man advantage for Golden 5 as they're on the attacking side for Blacklist. A nice little early man advantage is a nice, strong start. Of course, slowing it down after that. We'll see how they continue to push forward here. Now LXM Team Q going to be holding up. We've got most of Golden 5 hanging out closer towards mid right now, looking for a way to transition over into one of the sites. AG, on the other hand, they've had to split their players up, play pretty much just evenly split at this point in time, not necessarily committing too many assets to either one of the sites at this point, but Golden 5 going to try and start to push themselves forward here a little bit, of course, being careful in their own regard because of flanks. They've gotten control of mid. That's usually the pressure point, but hold on. 70kg able to sneak into mid. They don't seem to realize where he's firing off these shots. From me just ripping them apart. 3 kills in a row, and AG have turned it back into their favor. They don't really seem to care about man advantages, I guess, as 70kg is able to really show up for his team when they do need it. Golden 5 have been halted in their tracks, though. As you see the 2 remaining players up against the board trying to spot out someone else. That's going to be 70kg who actually came from behind. They did some decent damage to him, but not enough to finish him off. There's still a lot of time to work with. The problem is they don't have the players here, Blue. 25 seconds left here now for Golden 5 to try and get the bomb onto the ground. Fortunately, the task is not going to be easy anymore in a 2v4 situation. LXM walking right out into one of the members of Golden 5's face right there. We'll take out, I believe it was Creed's. Now, only 30 seconds left here for 7. It's not looking too good. He's going to be found out. However, gets this double kill, but fails to account for LXM, who flanks down through the underbelly of the map, picks up the final kill, and puts AG on the board first. Well, pretty crazy considering that was only the first round. What an extravagant play out of 70kg to save the round here for all gamers. And they're going to need even more of that here. It's Golden 5 didn't look bad. They got the initial entry frag going into this. They slowed the pace down. Maybe picking things up would have been a little bit of a better start for them. But either way, going into round 2. See a lot of these smokes being invested towards this A side as Golden 5 have just pretty much poised themselves around this position, but not really been able to break too much ground. TMQ is going to be here waiting to receive. The position he's in, out in the open. Have to be very careful there, especially the flash beings come through. His position's not been given up. He just sprays and prays through that smoke, hitting nothing. It's always been a game of chicken on this map with who wants to, you know, make the aggressive move into mid first, and obviously usually ends up being the attacking side here. But at the same time, sometimes Global Risk as players as well are a little bit timid to actually, you know, push in and hold control of mid, so sometimes they give it up a little bit early, even when the attackers don't end up really showing face, so we'll see. Now they're still trying to force their way in there with about a minute and a half left. You can see in the minimap though, there's 4 players in this general vicinity with like a 5th one back towards spawn, like on a quick rotate. So they're pretty much giving up full control of B. Problem is they've lost out on 2 players as Creeds and Blame's able to push in and get 2 quick frags and a 3rd as well. Go for the spray down, and just like that, the Golden 5 take down 4 kills. And ZQ is going to be the last one remaining up against 4. Are going to get pretty much overwhelmed by the remaining players from Golden 5. They're making it quite the easy cleanup in the 4v1. That'll tie us up 1-1 between the 2 teams. It's now the Golden 5. Ball in their court. We're going to see if they can keep it going and be able to take the lead away from all gamers here. An important match. I think in general for the tournament, You know, obviously it'd be great to see like a team run away or a couple teams run away with the initial day one results, but I want to see like a close tournament here between all these teams.
This match is going to be a good way to tell like where AG and to some extent where the rest of the Chinese teams are at here right now, because generally speaking, we at least going off like the recent Crossfire Stars results, we haven't seen Europe do too well in these tournaments before. So if they struggle against a European match, that may be a bad sign for the Chinese teams going into the later stage of the tournament. But we'll have to see, because regions like Brazil and whatnot have looked a little bit sour to start off the tournament anyway. So it might kind of turn into an open ball game.
I'm hoping so. 70kg gets another shot, this time on the face. Looking for a second, he gets the snap onto him, and Snox is going to fall. And he gets a third through the smoke. Look at this again! Out of 3 rounds, 70kg's been able to pick up 6 kills, 3 in 2 of those rounds apiece. And they've not been able to deal with this sniper.
Blame and Creed's the last 2 standing. Unfortunately, Blame's going to be found out trying to cross the bridge, and Creed's goes down pretty shortly after that too. AG clean it up, take back control now, and they're going to be able to go up 2-1 in the matchup. And a chance as well for AG's players. They're getting amped up now. A little bit of hype now. They're starting to take some control. Still a little bit timid in mid. That's probably the biggest pressure point for AG at this point that Golden 5 have been able to successfully abuse and actually take some advantage in the round with. They had it once and unfortunately weren't really able to leverage a win from that. But the second time they took it, easily took down the rest of AG from that point forward and were able to build themselves towards a win.
You see Creed's taking this position multiple times, multiple rounds in a row. Really hard to jump up there, especially with the alert getting the siege, pushes straight through. Looking for a second. Oh, he's able to get it as well. I'm surprised 7 didn't turn around. Can he get potentially a third? No, FaZe's going to shut him down. In the meantime, TMQ's been able to pick up another kill. Just like that, back to a 4-on-2 here in the hands of FaZe and Snox. Snox unable to get on the scoreboard so far as he's down with 0 kills and 3 deaths. But we have seen a 2v5 pulled off earlier on. Obviously a different situation, a different map. Maybe a bigger discrepancy between the caliber of teams. You see Snox taking heavy damage. TMQ is going to drop him, and now it's all on FaZe, who's been able to actually sneak in towards the A side. The problem is he's got so many other players here. He's able to take down the first. He's able to sneak his way in through, but now they're going to just tighten the noose on him. They're going to push everyone in from the other side. He gets a second kill as well, and it's just down to a 1-on-2.
He's all alone here, not with a whole lot of HP to play off of either. Already done 5. Sitting right on the site, a minute left. They're going to try to nade him out, but no, he finds the first kill. One more still to find is LXM. It's right around the corner from him. He hasn't gotten a good lock onto his position just yet, but he is checking that angle every so often. 50 seconds remaining. The thing is, though, is that LXM doesn't really need to push him at the end of the day. He can just wait out the timer if, in reality, he really wants to play that. But there we go. There's the plant. LXM now has to make the move forward. 35 seconds left.
FaZe still doesn't know, though.
He is checking the angle, however. Oh, and ultimately, yeah, LXM ends up getting the better of it at the end of the day. 28 seconds, plenty of time left for that defuse, if he can find the bomb, that is. And that is going to put AG a little bit further ahead now with 3-1.
To be fair, that was a very scary position to be in, though, considering it was a 2-on-4 and then had to then be a 1-on-4, and that player was able to take down 3 of you. And all gamers still 3-1 now. Still maintaining this lead. Snox still not able to get on the board just yet. I don't want to be too harsh on him. But they definitely need every player to step up here because they're currently down by 2 rounds, and it potentially could continue to grow. Luckily, there's no economy within the game, so it's not like they have to go on saves at all.
Like we were saying before, it's gun round after gun round here in Crossfire, so teams will be going back to back into these fights. And generally speaking, like I said before, on this map, it's mid, where a lot of the late round, is essentially determined, in my opinion, is who gets control of mid, and more importantly for the attackers, for the blacklist roster, if they can get control of it early enough to then leverage that control onto a site. That's generally how we see Mexico play out. It's going to be a good start, though, for AG, though, as they find FaZe first in this round.
Able to gain a lot of ground, though, towards the A side. At least able to sneak Creeds up here. He's got TMQ off towards the side. He's got ZQ inside he's got to watch out for. I think he might retreat away. Snox is currently the one carrying the C4 for his team. Well, we can only see 2 players on the minimap, so I'm assuming he's over towards that B site, at least. Maybe in that general direction. Oh, you can see he's back towards spawn, actually. But definitely taking their time, and I like how AG are just they're forcing Golden 5 to be the ones to push, to get aggressive, because they already have the man advantage here for AG. They're playing defensive, they're playing the global risk sides. There's not like a need for them to get aggressive for information, for kills. Just play out that clock, and that clock will eventually tick away.
55 seconds left. Probably the most passive round we've seen so far. 2 minutes gone, essentially. We've only seen 1 kill in the entire round. Second change, though, in the next few seconds. Leaping into the fray. Snox is going to be able to find 1 look for more over the next few seconds here as well. Not the easiest thing to find, as you can see, though. All right, 1 kill. It's only brought them down to a 4v4, and where's the follow-up? Unfortunately, we haven't seen it just yet.
Not really able to break through and towards any of the sites as well. Still have AG defending the A site. B looks like a general open vicinity. 7, I think it might have just been spotted out as he crossed back over to head towards A. They're going to need Creeds, I feel like, to be the one to really step up here. Snock's going to push straight in. Doesn't see TMQ tucked in behind the box. Comes around the corner. 7's able to get the return. And Creed's able to sneak in towards the site and towards Shaq. But he still has a player in sight. Pushes directly into him. Takes him down. 12 seconds left to go. The C4's down on the ground. He gets protected. He's missing his shots. And Creeds, unfortunately, won't be able to close that out. And All Gamers able to take another round on the board.
Golden 5 coming so close every single round here, at least in the last 2. Unfortunately, have not been able to close it out. So AG will continue to thrive as a result of that, a 3-round lead. 6 more away from closing out the actual map. So they're nearly halfway there now. This time, we are going to see a little bit of early nade pressure being thrown out by the Golden 5. And again, it's to get that mid pressure and try to take it away from AG as quickly as possible.
I almost just want to see a rush come through. You see the aggression just turn completely on its head here for Golden 5. Nade's getting running over the top. Catch a Snox down for about 10, 20 HP. Speaking of Snox, he gets a kill here as they're going to trade 1 for 1.
Let's see, split now 3v4. As the Golden 5 once again sit a man down against the Chinese roster. He's going to continue to hold pressure pretty much evenly distributed across both of the sites now. I think 1 in mid, 1 on probably A considering, or excuse me, 1 on B, considering we've had relatively heavy A pressure for the most part. Like we've seen a lot of other matches, like a lot of teams today are like very one-site focused. They're not varying up their play too much, and Golden 5 is kind of falling into this pattern as well.
FaZe cashed out 70 kg, and he's able to do just that. Able to take down the sniper, so things are good, looking good here for Golden 5 to take a round. Spray comes through, gets a second as well, and able to get the third, though, as TMQ comes around the corner. He's able to get double himself, but 7's able to shut him down just as quickly. Now it's down to a 1-on-1. ZQ up against 7.
7 is going to get picked relatively quickly, though, so ZQ closes out once again for All Gamers. China continues to hold strong now. 5-1 overall in the matchup here.
There we go into round number 7. 3 left to go in this first half before we see both teams swap sides. Again, Golden 5 are just not really changing things up. They really want to hit this A site, but they've been so lacking in success. You kind of wonder how many times they need to continue to do it before they change things up, before they hit that B site.
Nade's trying to be thrown kind of right in the face of the Golden 5 here. Thankfully, they're going to do a whole lot of damage. They'll try to push their way through. They take quite a bit, though, but Blame and Snox are going to lose a considerable amount of their HP. They do pick up the first kill and do good damage to ZQ, which is now going to be finished off. The problem is the trades are coming in from AG at the same time. It only serves to even this out into a 3v3. A little bit greedy there from one of the members of AG, who's going to end up getting picked off by Creeds. And with that, Creeds will find the last kill as well. Quick triple for him.
I see what you did there.
What's up?
I see what you did there.
Oh, thank you. Golden 5.
Was that intentional?
I don't think so.
Okay. Do you know what you said?
Not really.
Oh. Why'd you say like thanks?
I was just trying to play into the narrative.
Okay. Do you want me to tell you?
You could.
Said he got a little creedy.
Oh,
like
did I?
Greedy? Creed's got the kill? It's good.
No, I don't even think I caught that.
I like it.
I think that was a complete accident, actually.
Just say you meant it.
Yeah, I meant it.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, 5-2 now. Golden 5 is finally able to take another round. 2. I'm sure they're going to be happy with that so far. Again, the push coming in towards A. A lot of utility being invested into this like slight push to get some control. They're immediately being forced to back away, and that B side just being completely left open yet again.
TMQ going to try to shift forward a little bit here. Doesn't be careful with the way the smoke's set up, as he could potentially give away himself. Also considering the fact that he's at about 50 HP. May not be too smart to try and peek out too aggressively at this point. So he's going to continue to sit back and just wait down the timer a little bit. It's been a very slow-paced game overall, but like we were talking about before, Mexico actually does tend to be a little bit slower paced than some of the match because of how decisive the mid-push ends up being. Specifically, if you can kill that player behind the box right there, there's almost always someone there every single round. It goes pretty well for Golden 5. They'll end up in a 2-for-1 exchange at the end of the day. It's time to run the site. This is again for LX7, and the rest of the team's going to try to hold them off.
There we go. They've been able to actually take the site away. Now down to a 3-on-2. Should have the site in their hands. 7 kind of playing a little bit of a lurk role here. Trying to catch out anyone rotating in through the doors. 7 going to be watching over towards water as well at the same time. So C4 going down. TMQ falling. It comes down to ZQ on his shoulders. He gets the first. It's going to be a long-range shot coming through. The problem is time is going to start to be a factor here in the next few seconds, as he's going to have to pick up the pace.
ZQ trying to wrap back around here. Not a whole lot of time left here. He needs at least 5 seconds, I believe, to get onto the bomb in time and defuse it. And unfortunately, he's not even going to be able to clear out the two members of the Golden Five. Creeds and Snox pull off the clutch. Well, the finisher, I should say. Managed to bring the scoreline up to 3-5. I'll tell you to our last round now, the first half.
So let's see. By the way, 70kg had 6 kills in 3 rounds. He had 2 triple kill rounds. He's only had 2 kills since then.
Wow, that's quite a fall from grace.
Yeah, I wonder if it's actually just the way Golden Five's been able to eliminate his control and his presence and really kind of punish him, because he's just not really been as effective, whether that's his fault or not, or that's just forced out of Golden Five. But it's a good sign for them, the G5 boys. But they've actually, like, I don't know, AG have actually sat further back than normal. They've actually given up a lot more ground here, maybe looking for 70kg to hit a couple of shots, but no one's going towards that water direction anymore. No one's giving him an angle.
I think look at them more for late round pickups and try to hold them off of the site, because the mid play generally has traded favorably for Golden Five, and I think that AJ doesn't want to give them any more kills from there, which is why they peeled back a bit more, and they're trying to play closer to the sites. More so than anything, focusing on A, is that's pretty much been where Golden Five sent their pressure every single round so far.
There you go, 70kg has a chance for a shot. He doesn't see them coming through with the smoke. He's going to miss that shot, unfortunately, shooting between 2 different targets. He's been nullified so far. Minute and 13 seconds left, so not a ton to work with here for Golden Five. Utility is starting very thin. Starting to run very thin, at least more importantly on the AG side, to halt this pressure coming through. And speaking of pressure, there we go. Blaine going to be the one to lead the charge, looking for the initial frag to come around the corner, and they should be able to take him down. Snox, actually, but in the meantime, LXM's able to defend on the site. Blaine runs out of ammo in the primary. Switched over to the pistol, takes him down. Now it's just down to 1-on-2 here, Blue.
He's going to have to move forward here, try to retrieve the C4. Tries to go for a wide swing and nearly meets Uo right on the other side of that, but he knows he's right there, looking for the angle, just can't find it, so he's going to fall back, try to get the C4 onto the ground here. Should be able to accomplish that without much pressure. And there we go, AG know it. So now they're going to start pushing forward. Blame will get flashed out. Oh, double flashed as well. He's not going to have good positioning to play with here. Tries to wrap as quickly into over one, finds the first kill. Miss rotates, tries to go back behind on the rotate position, but it won't work out. ZQ takes him down. Plenty of time left for the defuse there. And that means that we're going to see AG pick up one final round at the end of the half.
Yeah, 6-3. All gamers still able to put up a very good global risk half here. Now the pressure's going to come to them. How can they dismantle the defense that Golden Five's put up? And credit to Golden Five. You know, I didn't necessarily expect them to be able to pull off this many rounds so far. I'm not trying to say that I see them as like a heavy underdog, but I didn't really know what to expect out of this team. I know they're all very experienced players, but they're not as experienced when playing together. So I didn't really know what to. Water position is going to be actually able to catch them off guard. As you can see, they've actually been able to break their way through. TMG's leading the charge, 70kg with the support. And Seven's already been able to be, well, not been able, he's unfortunately forced to be the first one down here for Golden Five.
70kg still trying to take Overwatch here with the underpass, and not going to meet a whole lot of contention from Golden Five's side of this. They're remaining pretty passive as well here. A minute and a half left in the round. AG yet to gain a huge amount of map control, and actually Golden Five getting a little bit aggressive here with mixed results. They lose 2 players. AG, well, hold on now, what's going on? FaZe picking up a massive amount of kills, but at the same time, 70kg trades it back just as strong. Now into a 1v1 though, as Snox finds another pickup for the Golden Five. And we're gonna have Snox versus ZQ to close out the round.
Well, he was relatively quiet in the first half. ZQ's going to run back. He's got to pick up that C4. He does have it in his hands now, but where is he going to decide to go? I think he knows the general vicinity of where Snox was, so it's kind of up to him. It's a kind of a slight gamble of, do we, or do I, expect him to still be sitting towards that A site, or is he going to potentially rotate away, thinking I'm going towards B? But Snox is holding steady. I like this. There's no reason to move. 50-50 chance you're going to choose the right position. And if you hear the bomb being planted, or if you hear the bomb planted over at B, well, then you're the one attacking back. And now ZQ's been spotted out. 30 seconds left. Will the rotate towards B happen?
ZQ's still trying to make his way up. Looks like he's going to try to make the push through mid. Should have been able to spot Snox right at the end there, but it's instead going to subvert him, head into mid, right at the cutoff point that rotates over towards A, and try to sneak the plant off on B instead. Works out. Is successful. But now it's on Snox to rotate around, and he's just going to run right into him. Easy kill for Snox, it seems, at the end of a very long duel there. No, he just has to locate the bomb. Plenty of time to get that defuse. And it's going to be the Golden 5 that start out with the 4th round here.
All right, so 6-4 still in favor of AG. Snox with 3 kills in that round, by the way. And a great, nice double out of phase. And if they can take down All Gamers, like, I'm going to be really interested to see how the rest of the standings do shape up. Super Valiant, oh my gosh. Super Valiant, like, they had such a one-sided affair earlier on. This creates, I don't know how he gets across that way without being shot down.
Thankfully, he has some support there from Snox to help him out. He picks up a second before finally over pushing and going down to ZQ. It's a small gesture at the end of the day, though, as they got this down to a 2v4, so ZQ and TMQ have a lot of work to do to bring this back for AG in this round.
Minute and 40 left. No real hurry out of AG to push in, though they're going to be 2-on-4. Gonna have to hope for some free kills, to be honest. Blame might be giving them a push straight to the smoke. ZQ's going to catch him out, looking for the seconds while the spray and pray going to come through it just like that. It's down to a 2-on-2.
Doing a good job of turning this round so far. Of course, ZQ taking a lot of damage there. So he's going to be very careful about how he approaches this for the rest of the round. The same could be said for players like Snox. 7 in the meantime, though, is going to be able to snipe out TMQ. So everything goes down to ZQ now. And unfortunately, he doesn't have the best position to play with. He's going for a flank play into the A site. Will actually be able to walk right in, surprisingly enough. But does he feel safe enough to try and get that C4 onto the ground as he realized Snox sitting right around the corner? And unfortunately, he won't be able to plant it regardless, as he still has a C4 on the ground. That's great pickup from ZQ, though. Finds Snox out. Now just has to locate 7. Gets him in mid for a second there, too. It peaks slightly too late.
You see 7 trying to drag out the time. See how far away the C4 is currently down. ZQ looks like he's going to run back to pick it up here. Maybe, oh. Comes down to who's going to spot out who. Low HP, and that's going to be 7 winning out in that trade. 4 health remaining. Definitely helping him secure that duel and secure another round here for Golden 5. It takes him up to 5 up against the 6 of All Gamers.
Golden 5 doing good work here to quickly bring themselves back into the match, nearly tying it up now against AG. The volley of grenades going to go out into mid early on here, which again, we won't actually see Golden 5 contest this time around. Both teams, AG and Golden 5, have pulled back after what we saw throughout most of the first half. They're choosing not to play aggressively into mid to hold it. Instead, are kind of just focusing on the sites, waiting for the push to come from, in this case, AG.
Yeah, Golden 5, I feel like, have given up a lot more of the real estate around the map than what we saw All Gamers do on the Global Warriors side. I feel like they're playing a lot more passive. Maybe not feeling confident in their style. Maybe this is a style they haven't practiced of holding aggressively for a defense. But then again, you know, playing more passive like this, you give yourself more opportunities, I feel like, because you could change things up and get really aggressive one round when they don't expect it. But also, you're preventing yourself from like really getting picked off at all. And there's always the potential for refrags, I think, with the way that they're currently set up.
Regardless, we're on for a minute and a half now. Not a whole lot of time remaining here for AG to make their push, but as we've seen before, teams usually are pretty good at exploiting last-minute twos. The timer usually not much of an issue for the attacking side here with the rest of the Blacklist roster. Golden 5, in the meanwhile, still trying to hold back, and again, not playing into this fight at all, trying to not take any duels unless they absolutely have to. Snox had to in that case, ends up swinging out from the side a little bit, picks up the first frag against TXM. And now the rest of the team going to be pushing in probably in a moment to try and refrag that, I would assume, but still actually needing a moment to set up positions. We don't see the push happen.
I like Blame's spot here, actually tucked away in the back of sight. You have to check this one. It's going to be very tough to do because they have a nice little crossfire set up, and the crossfire works out well. Blame and FaZe, they get the bomb down. FaZe is falling, and ZQ's been able to pick up a sweet little double. When we plant it, it's going to be a 2-on-3. It's so hard to defend this. You see Snox. Will they expect to actually players pushed out? TMQ is really spotted. He gets the first one to 7. Now he's be able to rotate back to help out this aggressive push coming through. Snox needs to hit a shot, but he's able to sneak his way back in towards sight.
ZQ still trying to fire in here as well. Kind of losing himself for a moment. Thankfully, TMQ comes in for the assist. Oh, right underneath the ammo crate. ZQ finds the last pick with a nice headshot. Finally puts AG on the board for this half. Just when Golden 5 were about to tie it up too.
It's a massive crowd out here. Watch this and supporting All Gamers. It has to be like the 6th man on the team. Motivation you get your entire.
I wonder how Golden 5 work in that kind of environment. They're going to try to get aggressive this round. Mixed results ultimately at the end of the day. That always serves to keep an even fight going. But hold on now. They're killed down by them. TMQ left as the last man standing, and as Creeds gets his second kill of the round, wins it. The Golden 5 as they come swinging into that one.
So now are they going to do the same thing? Are they going to get aggressive again? Or will they expect all gamers to predict that's going to happen? In their passive style, it wasn't doing bad for them. I mean, they were able to get 3 rounds so far here. Looks like they're holding a little bit more aggressive this time, not letting these choke points go for free. Using these smokes, saving a lot of these flashbangs that they possibly can here to the later parts of the round. I mean, it's 2.5-minute rounds. Like, they technically are very long rounds.
Yeah, when you consider there's not, like, you consider it's not really, like, the maps aren't huge for the most part, it builds into it. You're given a lot of time to play the maps. Yeah. Golden 5, by the way, doing a great job trading out these frags. They're going to be able to catch ZQ. Well, 7 does fall at the end of the day. Their teammate is available to trade it, so the Golden 5 come right back into it on their 4th round this half.
This is getting interesting because they're jumping out of their seats. 7-7, all tied up between the two teams, and Golden 5 are getting pumped up here. Might need to call the Krankenwagen here for all gamers. Yeah, ambulance. If you don't know.
Oh, no, I don't. I was just agreeing with you again.
I like how you laughed to make me feel better about myself.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
I did that a lot.
See, that's the kind of co-caster you need. Wait, what? Oh, here we go. Into our next round. A little bit of damage being traded. You can see that Golden 5, after the initial aggressive hold, have gone back to playing passive. Snox to be the only one actually holding it out aggressively. Trying to spot someone out. I think all gamers are being a lot more respectful, but again, 70kg back on the sniper, looking to push in through water. And that's going to be the first frag for 7, and a second out of Blame, and a third! Look at this. Golden 5 should be able to take the lead off of this round. However, you can't count LXM or ZQ out. ZQ at 10-4 currently in this half, out of 5 rounds, by the way. He's got 10 kills. The 2v5, they should not be able to win this.
So ZQ actually be left as the last one standing. Golden 5 clean it up once again, and now they have the lead over all gamers. 8-7, 2 more rounds away from Golden 5 pulling off what should be considered a pretty decent upset here, at least in my opinion.
I think this kind of opens up the entire standings, actually, if they take this match. We don't know how the other games have gone. I think we're going to see a standings after we're done with the match, but I'm really curious to see where all the teams currently stand here. I think maybe Trust, unfortunately, going to be at the bottom. Depends on how good Super Valiant actually was playing earlier on today. We only have to see one of their games squeak, but we're going to see if Golden 5 can keep this pace up.
2 minutes left in this round. Golden 5, of course, now that they have the lead, playing a little bit more passively, not trying to throw anything at mid. And AG, even timid to go into mid itself, let alone try to take the full control of it and then leverage that pressure onto the A site. So they're still playing incredibly passively here, too. In order to lead into it.
Yeah, and 70kg's gone back to the AK, so he's given up on the sniper here. Just kind of a niche little pick for the positions they do want to go. But in general, besides like the first 3 rounds, or 2 out of those first 3 rounds, when they were on the Global Risk side, it hasn't really been faring too well, so.
He had that one like really good flank, and unfortunately we haven't seen a whole lot from at least 70kg since then. You were mentioning it like in the pregame that this map generally doesn't play too well into AWM styles, so it's not too surprising that we've seen both teams just kind of ditch it for the time being, at least.
Yeah, especially with Golden 5 not challenging out towards water, really giving up that free control, waiting for them to come around the corner position they want. Now the pace is being picked up as they barge straight towards this B-side Blade. Gonna lose the 1v1 duel against 70kg, and always gonna get one himself as well. That will be the B-site being taken here for all gamers. Gonna tie things up, and there we go. Nice little double push through door. Allows Snox to get the first kill on TMQ. It's now down to a 3-on-4 after plant situation.
Plant on the ground, time to see how. You can see Golden 5 pull off a full-on retake, especially when you consider how many players AG still has standing. This is probably one of the stronger takes they've actually gotten in this half so far.
I think Creeds needs this kill, though, because that can open up the entire site, because he can flank in from behind. The other 2 players coming in from the front door. He's going to need to take down LXM and hope that 70kg doesn't swing around in time. So it's come through. They actually push through the doors before Creeds even gets there, and they get the 2 big frags. Creeds, sorry, Sam's going to be one of the last members remaining. Now Creeds going to be all alone in a 1-on-2, and somehow they don't pull that off. All gamers tying things up yet again.
All gamers still staying alive despite the pressure we were seeing from Golden 5 earlier. And now again, we are tied up. This could go the distance, potentially overtime as well. Both teams only 1 away from 9 at this point. That is your tie point to try and lock yourself into an OT situation.
And if you're not sure of how OT is going to work here, it's 1 round.
Yep.
You play 1 round to determine who wins.
Everything gets put on the line for OT. one final engagement here. And you can bet teams are probably going to be a little bit more timid about that situation if they end up going into it. But to be fair, they're both playing pretty passively right now anyway, so probably wouldn't be much different.
11 and 6 for Snox, who's been really able to wake up here on the global risk side. ZQ 12 and 6. He's been gotten really any kills in the last few rounds. Actually, he had 10 a couple of rounds ago. And unfortunately, LXM having a rough match. That's like 3-4 players in the general vicinity waiting to receive a brute force push out of all gamers that's really not coming, at least at the moment. I think both teams realize if you take this round, like we've got a minimum of a tie, like a minimum of overtime.
We've guaranteed the golden round at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be slow wind up, it seems, here from AG. Finally throwing some nades in the mid. They are going to walk into this setup from Golden 5. These are still pretty standard positions that Golden 5 are playing into. It shouldn't be surprising AG at all, but they're going to be here. It's just can they hold it off successfully? First kill, yeah. Second and third, not so much, but they still end up winning the trade 3-1.
Oh my gosh, going over the box. ZQ gets a big kill. Nice double for Snox, though, and it's all on TMQ, alone against 3. Where's he going to be? He doesn't have the C4 in hand, unfortunately. You can see they're still trying to figure out where this man is playing from. And TMQ, he's got time to work with, and that time is ticking away. He's got the HP to work with, too. You can see FaZe, he's got the AWM out, so I wonder if he's going to be holding a long angle here.
He is in a position to swing for the angle that TMQ just peaked. So it is a good possibility. But TMQ is going to take the back entrance anyway. We're going to swing through the underpass area here. Way out of the side. What? Oh my god, TMQ absolutely decimates the 1v3 and lurches AG back into the map.
How do you lose that? You're 3-on-1. You knew where he was, and you all peek, and he just headshots all of you? Oh my gosh, if they win off the back of that. Maybe he's been relatively quiet this entire half, but those 3 kills at the end.
Maybe what they needed at the end of the day. Let's see, one more round. It's all AG need, but one more round is all they have left. Golden 5 win it. We go to that final golden round to decide who's taking this match.
I would be so demoralized if I was Golden 5 there. How do all 3 players not hit those shots? How does he connect in such quick succession like that? And you saw Golden 5, they were starting to stand up, they were starting to get real rowdy, but they've gone silent after that last round, and they should be. That's a situation you should never have lost. You should have been on at least golden round point.
All just set up for him as well, lined up essentially, just 1, 2, 3, popped them all off. That's going to be a big mistake by Golden 5 that they won't soon be repeating. At least we would hope not. Either way, though, AG once again taking a slow route at the beginning of this one, not necessarily throwing the pressure into mid. It's the same, or virtually the same setup that Golden 5 had in the last round, and the setup that was used to bring them down to the very 3v1 that they ended up losing.
We've seen so many great individual plays on this map so far between these two teams. I mean, 70 KG getting triple kills in the first 2 out of 3 rounds. TMQ pulling off the 1v3 there. Now they're going to be pushing towards water, and I'm not sure how this is going to work out for him. Smokes, flashes, kitchen sink, everything being thrown in. They come around the corner, catch on 7. Creed's able to return, but only onto 1 as he's going to be picked up. It's going to be a 2-for-2 exchange, but it's going to go the way of the Golden 5.
Go now down to a 2v2, however, as AG has still been able to trade this back successfully. They got C4 on the ground, thankfully can be retrieved relatively easily. With 24 seconds remaining, they're going to have to move very, very quickly. No, TXM is lost. It's all on ZQ in the 1v2, otherwise we're going to a golden round. And ZQ doesn't have easy access to this site right now. He's locked out of A, doesn't have a clean way to go in, and if he does, well, he's walking right into a crossfire. His best bet's going to be to back up, head near the site, just barely escapes around the corner. He's still going to get picked off here. Thankfully he makes it, only losing about 10 HP. That exchange, and with literally 1 second on the clock, quite literally, on the last second, is going to be able to get that C4 onto the ground. Angle 2, there's 1. Where's the second? He's got the lineup, and he gets it done! ZQ shuts it down for all gamers as they just barely take control at the end of regulation.
10-8, what a game out of all gamers. They 100% deserve that, pulling off the 1v3, pulling off the 1v2 at the end. They have to be so happy about that one. ZQ, 70 kg, TMQ, everyone's been able to step up in that match. And you can see smiles on their faces, and smiles are deserved after that game here, Blue.
Beautiful stuff from AG. A little bit of a bump in the middle of the matchup, but managed to bring it back brilliantly, including that absolutely incredible clutch. And as for the Golden Five, so close, but no cigar this time around. They will just barely fall short for coming back themselves. And unfortunately, will take the loss on this matchup by only really a single round.
I mean, not to take it away from all gamers, but that was a close match that technically should have gone the way of Golden 5, at least with that 1v3 that they were able to pull off. Like, that should have been technically their game to at least throw it into the Golden round, into the final round of the game. And I think this means, even with all gamers taking this victory, we still have a couple of other teams able to really step up. Golden 5, I think, to look to them, you know, as the day goes on tomorrow, and of course going to the semifinals, I'm really curious to see if they're going to be one of the top 4 teams, because they definitely play like one of the top 4 teams. They had a couple of like rough bumps here or there, yes, but they still look solid, and they still push all gamers to the brink.
Keep in mind as well, it's still the first day of this competition, and a lot of these teams haven't played each other in, you know, probably since CFS back in December in most cases. So considering that, some of these teams may be a little bit unfamiliar with the rosters they're going up against too, and as a result, some of the playstyles, and that could have been why AG were struggling, at least in the mid portion of that matchup when we started to see the Golden Five actually make some pretty good adjustments for themselves, especially on their defensive side.
It was nice to see like players who didn't step up like in the first half able to do so in the second. For instance, Snox, like on the Blacklist side, he just was non-existent. He wasn't really able to do too much. But then you look on the Global Risk side, and he was like one of the top fraggers in the team. And it was nice to see them be able to like switch things up and kind of performance that level. 70 kg again, he had like 6 kills, I think, over the course of like the first 6-7 rounds, and he had his 6 kills in like the first 2 out of 3 rounds. So it's kind of unfortunate that he didn't really kind of continue that pace.
Yeah.
But when they switch over to the next side, they still all looked good in general, and everyone had their moments to shine.
And I think that ultimately that is what, you know, allowed for AG to win at the end of the day, was the clutch factor that we were seeing from their players. We unfortunately we didn't get that from the Golden Five. You know, Golden Five was coming very close. If you remember, even in the first half, they were coming very close to winning a lot of rounds. But it was the same thing in a lot of those like 2v2s or very, you know, those like final moments where we had the 1vx's even. They just were never really winning any of those close clutches at the end of the day, and that is what threw the match, you know, back to all gamers at the end of it. It's
kind of unfortunate, but hey, I like to see at least have a close field, because we've had some very one-sided games. We had 10-3 for all gamers against Black Dragons, and we're like, all right, well, we're the defending champions losing in such a fashion. That was a very worrying sign.
Yeah.
And then seeing Super Valiant take the 10-0 in their match up against Trust, the Indonesian team, we're like, all right, well, it looks like we have maybe some very one-sided matches coming, but at least we had a very close one here to end off our day. We still have another match being broadcasted on the tournament stage. It's a completely different stream link. I don't have the link off the top of my head, but it's either going to be, let's see, All Gamers versus Pacific, Macta, and Firma, or it's Carbon up against Super Valiant. I would assume it's going to be Carbon versus Super Valiant, and that'll be on Subbase.
Yeah, hopefully so, because we haven't been able to preview the NA team just yet, so we need a good way to figure out where those teams are at.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see how like day one shapes up. We're only playing half of the fourth round when it comes to that, and then we'll see how it goes down tomorrow.
It's going to be a fun affair for sure, but I think that's the end of it here for our match, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks very much. We'll see you later.